Good morning, it's Saturday, not usually a day I do a video, but I decided I'm a little bit out of sync like the rest of the world is at the moment with things, so does it matter? Here we go. So this is what we're going to be doing today. As you can see, my Mirai here is modelling her cute baby Yoda hat. It is very simple to do as long as you're happy with the amigurumi style. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pinch it off Mirai. I need to call her Shitozi because Shitozi's been doing the work with me recently. I'm going to pop Mirai to one side. Sorry about that, Mirai. And I'll pinch your hat though. So we've got a bit of hat hair coming. Whoop, there we go. Not too bad, not too bad. So I'm going to pop her out of the way. I'm going to take some photos of her later so you'll be able to see what she looks like in the hat. But here is the little hat. So it's styled on the idea of Baby Yoda, and I just thought it was quite cute. I've been making some for my Cindy's as well. So if and when I can't speak at all today. If and when DollyCon is on later in the year, I'm going to be having some little Yoda hats for the dolls for sale as well. But I just thought it was quite cute. Right, so we're going to start off. We have some double knit yarn. I'm saying that this I know is definitely a Stylecraft double knit yarn. This I got from a charity shop, and on using it I can't make up my mind. I'm pretty sure it is a double knit, but it's quite a fine double knit, so you know you might need to keep checking it on the doll's head to 100% check, just depending on what your tension is and that. It's just that it was the perfect colour, so I had to have it. I just think it works really well. I have two little felt eyes there. You could use buttons if you wanted to. I just decided that it looked better with the slightly flat one. As you can see, we have a little raised nose there, so I have a little bit of the yarn already threaded up for that. And I'm going to be using a 3.5mm crochet hook. And there's my scissors. And I also have a cup of water in my Easter lamb cup. I am well, but for some reason there is a tickle in there, but I'm pretty sure that is just hay fever, so just keep an eye on everything. I'm just going to have a quick sip. There you go. So I've got that ready for me. So let's just get on with it. As I've mentioned, it is an amigurumi style. If you're comfortable with amigurumi, you're going to find this easy. If you're not, maybe try out a couple of other things. I have got a video to show you the basics of amigurumi as well. We're going to move this one because we're going to start with our green first. We'll move our little baby Yoda up there as well. As I said, this is, well, you can see it's a little bit wound oddly. I got a load of it from a charity shop. Some of it has really got tangled, so I've got to sit and work with it, but I just love green at the best of times. And then when I got it, and I'm like, oh, that is just absolutely perfect, great for little frogs. Definitely great for our Yoda here. Also made some full-size Yodas as well, so that's was where this yarn has come in quite handy. So we're going to start with our slip knot. Make sure it does slip onto the hook, not too tight. I'm hoping everybody's feeling well out there and you're making sure you're all keeping safe as well. I know I'm inside at the moment and I will be staying inside for the foreseeable future. I just have to keep popping out occasionally, obviously for little bits of food, and also I'm picking up foods and prescriptions, etc. for an elderly neighbour and also my mum, who are both in their 80s. So I've been out and about because I've had to pick their things up, but everybody else is staying in. Right, so here we go. 2 chain into that first chain. This is how I always start them. It's going to be that 6 double crochet. Remember, I'm UK terms, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we have our 6 there. I'm not going to tighten it yet. I'm going to wait until I do the next round. 2 in each next. Again, nearly every single one of our patterns start like this. So if you have been following me, you'll be going, oh yeah, she's doing that again. So 2 in each of the 6, which is going to give us 12. So 2 double crochets in each of these 6 double crochets. And I've lost count because I'm talking too much. We're going to stop in a second and we're going to count. I'm pretty good at guesstimating, that's no such word, but never mind, where I am, because you can usually tell whether it's a good circle. So I'm actually saying that is it. So, but to double check that, I'm going to count, and I always count from the back as I've mentioned before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. That shows I've been doing it too many years. But yes, you do get used to where it is going to go. I have got a little stitch marker there ready because we will need one in a couple of minutes, because we're not going to do a 2 in each next. Oh, I'm fibbing. I'm fibbing. Don't listen to me. Do what I do, not what I say. We're going to be doing a 2 in each. I've got my pattern here. Look how badly written my patterns are. There. I can barely read them myself at times. One of the things I'm going to be doing over this sort of time when we're all closed in, I'm going to be rewriting all my patterns into a book and keep them all nice and neat. So 2 in each again, 2 in each of the 12. I'm going to count this time because I'm going to put a stitch marker in a second. So that's our 2. So 2 double crochets into each. That's 3. That's 4. Yep. 5. It is a lovely yarn, this, mind. It's ever so soft. 6. 7. 8. Almost there. 9. And 10. We've got 2 more. It should give us 24 stitches if you want to check your stitch count at the end of it. Thing is, again, though I've mentioned tension, you will need to keep checking on your doll when we get to a certain point, because you may find you need maybe 1 or 2 stitches less. If that happens, it's easy enough just not to do a final increase. Or if you need to sort of take it up, just add a stitch in. Amigurumi is so forgiving for that, so don't get sort of panicky about that, because all our tensions are different. Most people who've made my hats, which I love to see, I've seen them on Instagram and Facebook, and people have tagged me, and it's a pure joy. And some of you, the colour combinations as well, they look amazing. So I'm pleased to see that. But I've noticed most people's hats are fitting. So I'm hoping my tension must be pretty average at that. But again, we are all different. Let me just move that other wool there. Now this time we are increasing, but we're going to do 2 in the first one and then 1 in each of the next 2. And that's the pattern you're going to follow all the right way round. So 2 in 1, 1 in 2. I've popped my stitch marker in so I can carry on talking really, but it is best to count. If you're nice and quiet, get these counts right, and it does make a difference to your work. So we've got 1, so there's 2 in that first one, 1 in that one, 1 in that one. That is the pattern combination. That would be 8 times. So that combination of 2 in 1, 1 in each of the next 2 times 8. But I'm not going to think about that because I've got my stitch marker in. So that's a 2, a 1, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 1. This is the only stitch you're going to be using. The whole thing is going to be done in double crochet, so you don't have to be worrying about any other stitches. So we're on a 2 again, aren't we? So a 2, a 1, a 1, 2, 1, 1. We're almost there because I'm nearly at the stitch marker. So I've got a 2, a 1, and a 1. Let's have a little look. One more set, I think. We have a 2. Yeah, and a 1. And a 1. Sometimes if you're not sure, because you know when you've just been in a stitch, it creates a larger hole, and that is where your eye is drawn. If you're not sure, just give it a little stretch, and I can now see that definitely goes in there, so that has to be the next one. But it's easily distracted, especially if you're doing something else, you're watching TV, you're talking to a friend. It's very easy to miss that stitch. We're now going to do just a double crochet round, so just 1 double crochet into every single stitch. I'm just looking at my hands on here. They're ever so dry, like probably 90% of the population's is. Obviously, we're all washing our hands a little bit more, even though we should have been washing our hands, but perhaps we are washing them more than we would normally, and they are getting a little bit dry. The problem being is I can't put hand cream on before I crochet. Apart from the fact the hand cream will actually transfer onto your yarn, and so it can sort of be a bit greasy, and my fingers slip. You just can't do it. So it's better to have dry, clean hands when you're crocheting, no hand cream. So what I'll probably do is when I finish this, I'll bang some on my hands then, and hopefully it'll help a little bit. Thankfully mine are not as bad as a lot of people out there. Obviously a lot of people who are working sort of frontline at the moment, I know for a fact from people I know, their hands are really sore. I'm finding the Vaseline hand cream, well, it's actually a body lotion, is one of the best at the moment. They do one with aloe vera as well, which is quite good. Right, so I've gone round 1 double crochet in each one. We're now going to have one more increase here, and we're going to do, you know, like we did 2 in 1, 1 in 2. This time it's going to be 2 in 1, 1 in 3. Yeah, so 2 double crochets in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in each of the following 3, and again that's going to be all the way around. And that is going to be times 8. So we have a 2. Remember, so then it's a 1, a 1, and a 1. That is one set. Next one, 2 in this one. And then we have a 1, a 1, and a 1. We're going to keep doing that. So 2 in this one, 1 in each of the next 3. Oh, I think the sun's just coming out. It's very dull this morning, although the weather has been predicted it's going to go a lot colder. But yes, a bit of sun's just come out. So 2 in this one, 1 in each of the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. 2 in this one. Then we have 1, 2, and 3. We're more than halfway now. 2 in this one. Then we have, I can roll my yarn a little bit. Did I do a 1? I did, yes. 1, 2, and 3. 2 in this one. Then 1, 2, and 3. Then one more set. So 2 in this one. I'm going to move my stitch marker in a second as well. 1, 2, and 3. So you can see the shape coming there. I'm going to move my stitch marker because it does make a difference. I would move it up, if you're not used to doing the amigurumi, I would move it up maybe every 2 rows, or rounds should I say. If you're comfortable with it, you can leave it a little bit longer than that, or if you're counting, obviously it doesn't really matter. We're going to have 2 rounds now of just double crochet, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. So it's just going to be 1 double crochet into every single stitch, times 2. I have a pen and paper here. I'm not too worried about 2, but we do need a pen and paper for later because there's going to be a few more rounds that are just that. So here we go. Off we go. So if you want to pause me and just get on with your double crochets until you've done your 2 rounds, that's quite a good idea. And then just come back to me afterwards. It is hard to get the tempo right for everybody. I do believe a beginner can do this, but only if they are used to an amigurumi style. You need to have a little bit of practice. It goes quite quick when you're used to it. I know people do say I do move a little bit fast. I'm not as fast as some people, but I am aware I do have to try and slow down on the instruction a bit. But don't forget to slow me down in the settings as well. Although my voice will sound really strange in that because it's sounding still gruff. So I'm saying hay fever, but I don't know. I mean, it's what, over a month now since I had the virus, or a virus. We don't know what I had. And it seems to have left my voice a little bit funny for a while. But it'll come back eventually. Just sound like I've got a slightly deeper voice than normal. I'm almost round for number 1. Second one. You see my little teacup? They're cute. So I'm using a little teacup today. She's quite a small stitch marker. There's not many small stitch markers out there, to be honest. I could do with a few more that are tiny. I mean, obviously for my mini minis, I can't use a stitch marker at all. I use a piece of thread. But I don't know, for sort of doll size, a small stitch marker is quite handy. And some gorgeous, well, you know, I've got quite a few. They're all gorgeous. It's just that sometimes they're not very practical. They just look pretty. Right, this is halfway around our second round, so it doesn't take us too long. I can't see my clock because every time, you know, sometimes I'll set it up so I can see the clock, and then I think next time I do it and I can't see it. Oh, I don't know. I can still see a 0, so I know we're not into double figures yet. Almost there. Now this should actually give us, let me just double check, this should give us 40 stitches round. So if you do think, oh, have I done too many or too less, stop at this point, give it a little count. If you've done too many, sometimes it just means you've gone past your stitch marker, or if you've not had a stitch marker in, you've just gone a little bit too far. Just undo that little bit until you've got the number required. If you're on something like, I don't know, say, what should I say, I'm on 40, say if we got 39 or 38 for example, it's probably a case if you just missed one of the increases. So it's not always worth undoing it. Sometimes you can sneak one in if you're careful. So that's our second time round in double crochets. So it's already starting to curve it a little bit, so we're getting sort of a little disc shape coming there. We are going to have our final, I said last time it was the last one, we're going to have a final increase here, but it's only a tiny one because we've got 40 stitches. Commonly I find most of my hats are range around 42 stitches for the Smartdoll. This one did go up to 42, so I'm just going to do 2 in the next one. Then I'm going to do 19 stitches, then I'm going to do another 2, and then back to the beginning. So there's not that much, it's only 2 stitches we're increasing by. So we have 2, that's my first increase. I'm now going to count 19 stitches. 1, 2, you do need to count this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 more to go, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, nearly there, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Now you can get away without counting. I'm saying you should count to make sure it's even, but if you look, the second one is exactly in line on the other side. So 2 stitches in the next one. And then I'm not going to count for this second lot because it's just 1 double crochet in each until I get back to my stitch marker, and that is what I'm going to do it like. Now this is the round that if your hat comes out a little bit too big, maybe you should leave out. Hopefully, like I say, your tension should be all right. I don't think it hurts if the hats are slightly larger, and the beauty of crochet, if they're a little bit tight, you can give the yarn quite a good stretch and it will sort of eventually give. That's why I don't do things too big when I'm making them. I'd rather them be slightly tighter, because I do find by the time you've taken them on and off, on and off, on and off, they do get a little bit looser. So you can sort of see we've got a proper little shape going off there. Now we have only 5 double crochet rounds in this yarn. So got my stitch marker in, I'm going to move it up because I'm getting ready to just do 5 double crochet rounds with this yarn. So if you're going to be stopping me or you're going to be fast forwarding me, etc., it's only 5 rounds. I've got my pen and paper here, so I'm going to be going at a reasonable pace. So you don't really need to see me do this, as long as you remember 1 double crochet in every double crochet and that I am using UK terms. So here we go. It means I can sort of natter a little bit. Let's have a look. Absolutely. Let me move them out of the way a minute, because they keep I keep looking down and seeing them, and I'm thinking they're in my way. So that's why I've moved them. Absolutely love Yoda, so cute. Well, the baby one. Although it's not really baby Yoda, is it? I mean, it's the Yoda in the Mandalorian, but everyone's called it baby Yoda, aren't they? But it is rather adorable. Hopefully, if you are Star Wars fans, your Smartdolls are going to get some of these hats. And please, if you do it, just send me some pictures. Sometimes if you tag me in them, they do go to in Instagram anyway, they do go into like a little file. I do want to sort out sort of like a gallery of people's work at some point, or work I have made for other people, commission work and that, but I will be asking people permission to actually show their photos. I won't do that without, so I do need to sit and go through everybody's, but most of them, they are, like I say, saved on my Instagram. So that was 1 round. If you are on Instagram, please have a nosy what I get up to. It's not all doll related, obviously. It's crochet, it's doll, it's pets, it can be all sorts. So it's not really a themed Instagram. So I'm on my 2nd round now. It's got a bit of everything. But I think that sort of describes me quite well. I can't really fit myself into a category. I suppose the nearest category I would have is doll hats, crochet doll hats. I suppose that's the thing I do the most. But I sort of have a little dabble in all sorts. So I'm actually considering getting the sewing machine out. I have not sewn for, properly anyway, for so long. But I do need to make the dolls a couple of things, just for me, not for any other reason. Almost round on number 2. When I've done number 3, I'm just going to try it on her head, just to show sort of how the shaping is happening. Nope, we're still not on an extra number there. And there's no point in me looking at this either, because for some reason the time's wrong on it, and again I need to reset it, but it's still counting my steps, because even though I'm in the house, I am trying to make myself do sort of a basic amount of steps, even if it means I have to walk up and down the stairs a bit, or I suppose when I just go in the garden and hang washing up, or fetch washing in, or go out with the dog in the garden, things like that. It does add up. It does add up, surprisingly. Right, so that's 2 rounds, but the actual time on it is wrong. But saying that, is it tonight the clocks go forward? I think it is. I always get it the wrong way around. I have to think about it. And I know someone once told me if it's spring, it's forward. I think it was my mum actually, because she always has to remind me to set my clock. She always has done. I know most digital things, like phones, etc., reset themselves now. But the clocks in the house, I always forget to alter them. And quite often they're left there until they change over again. Right, this is number 3. It's going quite quickly. And as I said, when we get to end of number 3, I'm going to try it on Mirai, just to show you how the fit is going. Because also at this point, if you think it is really tight, you can just add in a couple of stitches. Oh, it's quite nice when the sun's shining through. Clouds seem to be moving a bit now. Where are we? There we are. That's number 3. So I'm going to pull Miss Mirai over here with her untidy hair now. And let's have a look how we're getting a fit. Yep, I mean mine should be okay, because obviously I've already made that one. I'm quite happy with that. Now if that was sort of really tight, I could add a couple of stitches in, or if it's really big, then that would be the time to do a couple of decreases. But no, I'm happy with that. So off you go, Mirai. Over you go. We only need 2 more rounds of this, and then we're changing colour. Now the ears are quite simple to do as well when we get to that. Obviously we go back to the green for that. And obviously we need 2 of them. I'm only going to make 1 to show you, and then I will make the other one later to sneak onto this one. I think this one I'm making today might go to Dollycon. I might do a few ready for my Etsy. My Etsy is still functioning. I'm trying to avoid going to the post office. I'm very lucky because everything's very local where we are, so it is only a few minutes walk, but obviously the queues are big, but well separated. I'm quite impressed with our village. You know, we've been very organised, and there's big gaps between people when shopping and that, which is very good, and nobody's moaning. It's so nice. Whether I'm just lucky where I live, but I've not really heard anybody complaining. Most people, you know, I can hear them sort of chuntering at each other across the distance, 2-metre distance, saying, oh, you know, it's a good idea, you know, I think they're really being sensible. So it's all good. It's all good. It's nice when people get on. I have heard in some areas, though, there has been fighting regarding food and getting things, and it's just really not necessary. Right, this is number 4. I didn't write number 3 down, but I know it was number 3 because I said I'd stop, didn't I, at number 3. So, number 4, let me mark it down. Though I don't really need to either because there's only 1 more to go. So, we have 1 more round, and we're changing to that nice beigey sort of brown. I've seen lots of people make them. Some have used a dark brown. I just thought this was a nice contrast because you do want to sort of want it quite light, I think. and it is the colour I use for the base of my full-bodied baby Yoda. There we go. I'm going to have a sip of water in a second when we change over as well. Got my little lamb mug from the pound shop before everything started closing down, so I thought it was quite cute. Pleased I got a little Easter themed one, because I've got more Easter themed projects coming next week. Because it's not long. I'm not quite sure how people are going to be celebrating, because it's going to be difficult if you're getting families together, but fingers crossed. Things may have settled. We've still got a fair few weeks. Oh, have we? I don't even know what date I'm on. Oh dear. It's almost April, isn't it? Oh, 2 more, I think. Is it 2 more or 3 more? Let's have a look. Lined up. Oh, drop that one. Good job, it's crochet. 1 more. 1 more will do. Right, now, joining issues. Some people will join the yarn through at this point. I'm not going to mess about with that. I'm just going to do that. Take my scissors off my magnet because it sticks to them every time, and we'll move that, and I'm going to bring in this beige. Like I said, there's lots of different methods of joining. Choose whichever you prefer, or if you want to copy what I'm doing, that's fine, or maybe do a bit more research. I know there's some videos out there regarding joining. I just sort of have my own little way of doing it. The thing is, you want to sort of avoid too much of sort of a dip. That's the problem, but sometimes that's unavoidable. We're actually going to be moving. I'm just having a look what I've done on here. Oh yes, I have written it right. I say I've crossed things out and uncrossed things. Right, I am going to now, all I'm going to do is, I've done that stitch, I'm just going to pull that through, tighten it, and tie these two. You don't have to tie them at this point in time, later if you want. Don't tie them too tight, else you'll not get your stitching when it goes all the way around. I'm just tying it so it's not going to come undone while I'm talking to you, because we're going on to half trebles. So I'm going to do 2 chain. Counts as my first half treble, so just 2 chain, yeah. Into my stitch below, I'm going to do a half treble. Reminder for half treble: in like a treble, pull it through. You should have your 3 stitches. You know, I've just thought at the beginning I told you it was all in DCs. It's not, and you can quite clearly see that they're half trebles. Dear me. All the way through, yeah. So yarn round, in, pull through. We have 3. Pull through all 3 if you can. You can, if you want, pull it through a bit at a time. So a 2 and a 1, but make sure it is coming through all 3. Don't create a treble. It is really hard when you're used to doing trebles to do a half treble sometimes, because you naturally just want to do trebles. So these is 1 half treble. I try not to say treble now. 1 half treble in every single double crochet stitch. Grows a little bit faster now as well. So just 1 half treble in each one. I quite like half trebles. They're sort of a bit of an in-betweeny sort of size, but it sort of makes it quicker, like a treble, but it's also denser so you can't see through it. So I'll use it sometimes on the dolls if it's dresses and that, because I don't like seeing these great big gaps in stitches. So I would rather use a half treble rather than a treble with the dolls. Perhaps I should make Mirai a green dress to go with this. That might be quite nice actually. So just a little fitted sort of strappy dress, something like that, something nice and simple. I know people keep asking me for the dress patterns and that. The only thing that's putting me off, I have them on a list, I promise, but it's putting me off because I know how long they take to do. So I'm like going, should I do them in 2 sections, or then people are going to get bored watching me sort of doing, like, I don't know, 20 rounds of just double crochet or something like that. I'm trying to work out the best way of doing it, and I really don't know. I will get back to you on that one though. It is definitely on the list. Right, I'm almost round now. Now I'm going to be a little bit naughty. You would normally do a slip stitch join, wouldn't you, for a half treble or a treble, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to jump straight into the top. It gives a slight bump, but It's makes it easier for counting. Right, so now it's like working the half treble with amigurumi, but you just get away with it, I think. So I've gone in top of that one, into the top of the next one, and again just one round of just one half treble in the top of each half treble. If you really don't like the half treble, you could have carried on with just double crochet. I've done half treble because it speeds it up a little bit and it gives it a little bit, can you see, you get a slightly different texture from the top bit, so it sort of makes a difference between his sort of his head and his sort of jumper, I was going to call it then, it's not really a jumper, is it, little coat. But you don't have to, you could have just carried on going round, obviously with the change of colour, in just double crochets. It would just take you a little bit more. I mean, this is our second round of half trebles, so it would be about 4 rounds of double crochets. So if you think about it like that, it's sort of like 2 stitches long, well, 1 stitch longer, so it's like 2 rounds. Oop, let me pull that out a little bit. There is only 3 rounds like this. So we're on our second one now. And it's not taking too long, is it? So if you think there's only 42 stitches to go round, could be worse. Oh, there we go. I want the sun to stay out because I do want to take her outside to take some photos, so I can pop them on the thumbnail and pop them on my other images. I've actually not done too bad knocking the camera today because I've got it next to me. I sort of stick my elbow out and that's what I keep catching it on. I shouldn't have said that because I'm going to knock it really bad, aren't I? Alright, again, we're not doing a slip stitch join, just look approximately where your stitch marker is and we'll go around again. Now, this is the last time in half trebles. This is when you need to check the length of it because again, if your stitches are a little bit looser than mine, you will find it will be longer. If they are a little bit tighter, you might find the hat is a little shorter. So we're going to try it on as soon as I've got round this round. Get ready for that second try on my right. Oh, careful and pick up those stitches, not one part. So that's what I nearly did then. And it makes it very loose if you do that. I'm still trying to look at the clock. I hope this is recording. It is recording. There's a red light flashing, but I can still see 2 zeros, I think. Sure that's not right. Or does it go on to those for the hour? I don't know. We'll find out at the end. Almost there. Like I say, we're using the stitch marker as an approximation at this point. I could do with moving it up really. It's entirely up to you how often you move it. Oh, got a tight stitch there. I don't know what I did on the previous round. Sometimes if you stop and restart, you will get a different stitch size, so you do have to be careful with that. Make sure you sort of try not to stop unless you're at a start point. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Stop at the start point. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for the new subscribers as well. Ooh, we got a couple more and I'll hit my 500. That's quite exciting, really. I'm terrible. I love numbers. Here we go. I'm there. I am there. Right. Well, 2 more, do you think? Yeah, roughly 2 more. That'll do. Right. So, Miss Mirai, in you come, and we're going to have a quick check because this might be enough for you. It isn't for me. I know that, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So what I'm going to do is, I'm relatively happy with the length of that. I'm going to do 1 round now of double crochet. The reason being is it just tightens that band up slightly, because the half trebles will give you more stretch than the double crochet. So 1 round of double crochet, and then we've done the body of the hat anyway. I think a double crochet at the end neatens it. I will sometimes do a slip stitch round, as you may have seen on some of them. The problem with the slip stitch round, it does neaten, but it's got no stretch. So if you want to make sure your hat's got a little bit of stretch, just leave it with a double crochet round. So, almost halfway. I'm quiet now, so I'm concentrating. Going quiet doesn't happen very often. Almost there. Maybe another 10 stitches. I would think I will talk about the facial features after we've done the ear. I mean, it's simple enough, but I will just get that ear out of the way to sort of show you the sizes. Right, my last stitch, I'm doing a slip stitch. If you're not sure on a slip stitch, let me take it out and I'll do it again. I did do that a little bit quick there. So I go in, I pull the yarn, and then I just pull it straight through that one as well. And that's it. You have the base of the hat. Yeah, you could just leave it at that. If you wanted to make a beanie, it's just a real quick way of making a beanie. If you made it a little bit longer, this bit, you could have a beanie, you could have a little turn up. That would look quite nice. I had contemplated doing this with a turn up, but again, for the actual use of the video, it would take a little bit too long, I think. So that is why I decided to keep it simple. Sometimes simple is best. Let's have a look. There we go. So that is our head. We're now going back to our green, and we're going to do those ears. They're going to start exactly the same. These are almost 100% amigurumi, slip stitch on the hook, 2 chain start, 1, 2, 6 double crochets into that first one, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Tighten it up, just 1 double crochet into each of those 6. That's a little bit tight and fiddly, I know, but we do need a slight point at the end there, so I have to do it. So that's 1. It's always hard to see it when you're doing it like this. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that was a little bit tricky to get into, I do understand, and it sort of curls up quite a bit, making sure you're getting these top 2. But we are going to do an increase now. We're only going to do a small increase though to get us up to 9 stitches. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in our first one. So that's 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in our next one. You see how it curls in a bit? You do have to be careful. And 2 in the next one. 1 in the next one, 2. So we're alternating, and a 1. So that now gives us 9 stitches. So it's spreading out a bit, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Now, what I like to do is I like to sort of push it into its right position then, so it's like there. Yeah, so I've just pushed it over my little finger, so it's the right way out. We're going to do another DC round, 1 double crochet into each of those 9s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh, or not, 7, 8 and 9. Again, I will keep sort of checking, making sure it's in the right sort of shape. So I use one of my fingers to make sure it's in the right place. I've got another increase. It's going to be very similar. It's going to be 2 in 1, 1 in the next 2. You've heard that before, yes. So 2 in this one, 1 in each of the next 2. That's 1 set. We're going to do it 3 times. So 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the next 2. last time. 2 in this one, 1 in each of the next 2. We now have 12 stitches. Yeah, so you can see it's sort of creating sort of like a little tiny hat sort of thing. So we're going to do another double crochet round. We've only got 12 stitches. We can just count the 12. We don't need a stitch marker for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. We have one more increase round, and we do this time. I'm double checking before I say that. Yes, we do. We're aiming to get up to 15 stitches, so we're going to do 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the next 3. Again, it's a pattern you've heard before if you've done this with me. So we have 2 in the first one, 1 in each of the next 3. Yep. 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the next 3. One more time, 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the next 3, all double crochets. So you can see we have a little shape of the ear coming. We are now going to just do double crochet rounds, and we're going to do 6 of them. Now, I know I couldn't make up my mind really the length of the ear. I sort of thought about it when I looked at all the other drawings and images and things. It was sort of almost like 3/4 sort of the head. So sort of, yeah, you can see it's almost there. So that is why I decided on that length. Entirely up to you. I'm going to pop a stitch marker in because I'm chattering. And if obviously if you're counting, it's better. You've only got 15 on each round, but I'm going to lose track, so I'm not going to know how many I've got. And as you do need to make sure both ears are the same, it's a good idea. So off we go, just 1 double crochet into each of those 15, and we're going to have 6 of those. So I'm going to speed up a bit. You pause or fast forward me and join me back when we're talking about the facial features. It's only 15 stitches, so it doesn't take too much. Remember, you were doing 42 before, so this should seem like a doddle. That's 1. It's catching on my stitch marker a bit, my hook. I can hear it crunching on it. Nearly round for number 2. This shape could be used for so many things if you look at it. It's almost like a little ice cream cone shape at the moment. But it'd make a great cat ear. That's another shape it could do. As I'm crocheting, whatever I'm making, I'm always imagining something else that it could be. Oh, I've just knocked something off the side. I think it could be a button. Sorting out some buttons to send over to my granddaughter because they're doing some crafting. So I've been emptying my craft room and just dropping things off at their door, so they can do some crafts while they're off school. And I dropped a load of buttons, and I think there's buttons everywhere. I really do need to, I've got to bring the hoover up and finally get rid of that confetti that I've still not got rid of. I'm finding it everywhere. It's on shelves. Now, if you've not seen my doll video, you'll wonder what I'm talking about. I had it's like a surprise type doll as for a Mother's Day present. But when you open it, this confetti goes everywhere. Yes, literally. I mean, it's up on the shelves. It's in corners. It's all over the floor. So I've got to bring the hoover up anyway. So I'll try not to hoover on any of the buttons up. Sometimes my hoover probably looks prettier than everything else because it's full of things like confetti and buttons and glitter and everything else. Right, I'm actually on my 4th round. If you're still with me. That was number 4. We've just got 2 more. You can see the length coming. Sometimes with the videos, I have wondered whether it's best, I mean, it's great for me because I get the views, but I wonder if sometimes, like with a crochet pattern, when I get a crochet pattern, I like to read through it to check, because there can be mistakes, or changes or something I don't recognise. So I like to sort of check through what I'm working on, and if I'm watching somebody else's YouTube video, if they're making something, I like to watch it first, get an idea, maybe take some notes, then I go back to doing it. Right, we're on our last round. Especially if you're a beginner, I think that might be a good idea, because you might start something and think, oh yeah, I can do that, and then you'll hit a technique or something and you'll go, oh, you know, I don't know that, and that's a bit off-putting. It puts you off, it makes you put your work down and you don't complete it, and the whole point of it is you're going to get a nice finished product. I'm on my last round now. Last round of just 15, should I say. There's going to be a tiny decrease. It's only a little one. Here we go. So I'm going to do a decrease to bring us back down to 12 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 together over these 2. So it goes in, you pull through. I don't finish the stitch. I go into the next one, I pull through. I have 3. I pull through all 3. That is my decrease. I am then going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. I'll go through a slow 2 together again in one stitch, pull it through. In the next one, pull it through. We have 3, pull it through all 3. 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Last decrease. So through, pull it through all 3. 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And we just have our very final round of 1 double crochet into each of those 12. So we'll just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Can you see how the stitch marker isn't where we started? This is what happens with amigurumi, because we've had a few decreases as well there, and it just does change because it's spiral. That's why you should move it up all the time. But because I'm used to what I'm doing, I don't need to worry too much, but I would recommend cut that off. Should have done a slip stitch last, shouldn't I? Where's my slip stitch? You don't have to, I just think it neatens it. And fasten off. That is our ear. So obviously you want to get rid of any strands we don't want, so we'll get rid of that one. This is the one I'm going to use to sew up, so I like it at the bottom there. So let's grab a needle. I'd already lined that up for the other one, but it doesn't matter. Let's take that out. That's its little bit for his nose. So through, fold it over, go through, go through, one more, and I'm going to fasten it off, and that gives you your little shape there. And then I usually pop it onto my doll to work out roughly where I'm going to stitch it on, but it's just a bit of basic stitching, sort of just picking up a couple of the stitches to make sure it's where you want it to be. Always make sure that's at the back when you pop it on the doll, and then it's not something that's visible. So we would sew the ear on there. So I'm going to pop that to one side because I'd mentioned his little facial features. So let's pop his ear over there, and that is what I'd got this little piece of yarn here for. I've already popped a knot in the end of it, and there we go. Now I've got to decide roughly the eyes. Or not. There we go. So if I decided his eyes were there, obviously I decided to do the nose quite high, so his nose has to be in the middle. So I'm going to just leave that in and take them off now because I know roughly where I want it, and pull it through. And I decided what, maybe 1, 2, 3 stitches across, and I'm just going in the other side and pulling it through. And I'm just going to repeat that again, pull it through. So that's 2, and again fill in the gap, and 3. That's if I decide that's okay. I think we want one more, make it a little bit more obvious. So this time I'm just going to push it through the back, and that is our little nose. That's all it is. So then the eyes you can either glue on. It looks funny without his ears. Don't take off his ears. The eyes you can glue on if you want. I have stitched mine on because that's a preference. I like to make sure they're not going to come off. I like things nice and sort of stitched on, but gluing's fine. If it's only going to be for your dolls, not for another child or anything like that, you can just glue them on, I think. So basically that is it. That is our baby Yoda hat. Let's bring Mirai back on and pop the original one on. Come on, Mirai, let's pop your little hat on. And doesn't she look cute? So definitely got to go and get some photographs of her in that. I've done some with the Cindy's, but I've not done them with the Smartdolls. So if you enjoyed that, please pop a like on there. Please like, subscribe and share. And also if you get it done, tag me in on Instagram there so I can have a little look what you're doing. Because it's just so nice to see everybody's work. So from me and Mirai, see you later. Bye.